Hey guys, Nate here. Thank you so much for the support of 7 Minutes in Heaven. Many of you have been asking about what my personal testimony is, and it's going to get raw and it's going to get real. I was born in 1990, and I was born in Romania. The year before I was born, Ceausescu was the dictator of Romania, and he was forcing women to have children and forcing people to do things they shouldn't have been doing. During that time, there were children in Romania that were called the lost children of Romania, and those children would be living in the sewers and the gutters. They would be doing drugs, just trying to deaden the pain, sniffing glue and different things of that nature. And during that time, in Romania, it was a very poverty-stricken country. So what happened was my mom was put in a situation where she was forced upon, and I was the product of that. So the man that did that, he was Romanian, and my mom is Romanian gypsy. Now, gypsies are looked down upon real big, and you're really not supposed to call them that. It's Roma or Romney. And so he found out that she was pregnant, and he said, you know what, I need to unalive this baby or I'm going to sell it. And so my mom was not letting neither of those things happening. And so she started traveling with myself and my brother, and who was 5 years old. And during that time, my brother had to work in the fields. Manual labor at 5. And so we jumped around from different places during that time, from 0 to 10 months. And so the man found her, and she ran to a different part of Romania, and she knew she needed to put the child up for adoption because the child wouldn't have made it. And my mom, she did drugs while I was a baby in her womb, and then afterwards. Now, I don't blame her because she was young, and it was in Romania, and the conditions were so harsh, and she was just trying to deaden the pain. So whatever, I love her. She's my hero. And so she went into the adoption agency, and as she was going in, this man, my father, found her and was trying to unalive this baby or black market or sell him for anything. And so she ran in there, and there was a woman from America there with her daughter. And that woman was actually came to Romania searching to adopt a daughter, a female. And so this young Romanian gypsy woman runs in there, and she hands the baby to the American woman. Now, the American woman, like I said, she came there for a daughter. And when she held me, she looked at me and looked in my blue eyes and said, how can I refuse this mom? How can I refuse this baby? So she decided to adopt me. And so when she adopted me, my biological mother, she was crying. And so she wiped her tears with her hair. And she left thinking she would never see me again. And so I was adopted. We went over to Romania, but before that, the judge said, before the adoption, don't do this. This baby's going to have psychological issues and have health issues. And they were absolutely right. I did. I've dealt with depression. I've dealt with anxiety. I've dealt with PTSD. There's different things that I've dealt with because of the results of that. And so we went to America. I grew up in Oregon until I was 12. But during this time, my adopted mother and adopted father, they ended up divorcing when I was 3. And what happened was, my dad was a pastor, and she just kind of fell off the deep end. It started with drinking, and then it turned to drugs and different things of that nature. And I don't blame her. I forgive her because Jesus calls us to forgive. I grew up in an abusive home. When I was with my mother, I was raped as a child by a family member. And with that, at 6 years old, that's a lot to handle. I was chained up on a tree at a church event when I was about 7 or 8 years old. Pants was pulled down. Kids were poking and prodding me because I was gypsy. and I looked different than all of them. And it was a predominantly white community where I grew up in Kaiser, Oregon. And so I dealt with all this abuse, and it just started to get so bad that my dad said, you know what, we need to go to Las Vegas. We need to escape this situation because it's not going to be good for Nathaniel. So when we first got to Las Vegas, it was definitely a shock coming from a small town. And so I went through life dealing with depression and anxiety. I dealt with suicidal depression. That is real, folks. And I want to tell you guys, seek help. It can save your life. Jesus had a doctor, Luke. Okay? It's okay to take medication, guys, that helps you. If you deal with bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, ADHD, autism, or whatever, take your meds, guys. If they're good for you and they help you, take them. I'm going to be talking about mental illness in the church. It's real, and it's a taboo, and a lot of people don't talk about it. So I went through life being really angry at everybody, having hatred for my mom for leaving us and doing drugs, and it was different men all the time, and I love her. I forgive her. I hold nothing against her. But I grew up fighting all the time. And my dad, he goes into the jails here in Las Vegas. He had a friend named John. And I was sitting on the couch at John's house, and he looked at me, he said, Nathaniel, God will never be able to use you to his full capacity until you learn how to forgive. I was angry when he said it to me, but I was like, whatever. So during high school, there was a situation where we had an airsoft gun in my vehicle underneath the seat. And we were on our way to a baseball game, and I had a friend in the car, and he decided, you know what, I'm going to pull out that airsoft gun and shoot someone on the side of the street. Long story short, we end up at the intersection where we're going. Helicopters, cars, SWAT was there, canines, they were all there. And I was sitting at the light, and I was thinking, man, someone's really stupid, right? And so they said, headshot, shoot to kill, you in the Monte Carlo. That was me. They thought I did a drive-by shooting. So during that time, I froze, and I heard God say audibly, put your hands out the window first. I put my hands out the window. They tackled me. They booked me at juvie. And the officer that was supposed to take that headshot went up to the pastor's office, because they were chaplains, and said, I almost killed one of your kids. If he didn't stick out his hands out the window first, I would have shot him in the head. It's a miracle. During this time, I went to, as I graduated high school, I went to Calvary Chapel Bible College. Great experience. Then I got brought on by a church as a worship leader. And then I got married. We dealt with infertility. She wasn't able to have kids. And so we had to pray our children into existence. And guess what? They're here now. So we went along that time, and during COVID, it was hard for everybody, and I ended up being in a divorce. I caught my ex-wife in adultery. She ended up getting pregnant with another man's child, and it was a very toxic situation, and I had to leave. I hated her for the longest time for what she did to me. And so after that, I dealt with depression. I walked away from the Lord. I got involved in witchcraft. I did drugs, alcohol, womanizing, fornication, whatever you want to call it. I walked away from God. I spit in his face. I denied his name multiple times. I did things that were sinful against my body. But before I died, the day before I died, I told my dad I'm dying, and I made things right with Jesus. I knew I was going to die going into the hospital. I was in coma for 4 days, and at night at 6:30, I died. I saw Jesus. He was beautiful. He was just beautiful. He was dressed for battle. But the word that God gave me for you guys is this: do not use what my son did on the cross and his forgiveness as a convenience for you to get sinning. I'm going to say it one more time for you guys. He said, do not use what my son did on the cross and his forgiveness as a convenience for your sin. Listen, guys, if you would like me to speak at your church or do a podcast, there's tons of them that are lined up right now. I love you guys. If you need prayer, go to the prayer wall. And if you need to message me, email me here, or go to www.thechristianstudio.com. We have my story, which will be produced into, there will be a book written, 7 Minutes in Heaven, and we have other stories of redemption. So guys, I love you. Stay true to the King. He loves you. He's a forgiving God. He's a just God. I love you.